What's the secret to efficient SQLAlchemy queries? Can the .options function really make a difference? Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Zach and today we're going to explore the .options function and how it can optimize your database queries. So let's get started. By default, the way a relationship is loaded is determined by what you specify in the lazy parameter of a relationship. If you didn't specify a lazy parameter, then it defaults to the select lazy loading technique. So here we have a models class with our setup with all of our imports here at the top, our database URL, again our engine, our session, and then we are using the declarative base from SQLAlchemy.orm, giving it an ID and having all of these other models we have down below inherit from this getting an ID by default. And then we have our user table with the name as a string with a one-to-many relationship to the post class down here. And then we have our post table with an active status, a user ID to reference back to our user table, and then a one-to-one relationship to the details table. And then our detail table has content and a post ID to reference back. And both of these relationships have backref. And since we are using backref here instead of backpopulates, we don't need to specify, let's say, a user variable inside this post table. And for our user to post relationship, we have the lazy set to select, which is the default. So we can just get rid of this if we really want to. And we have the same thing down here for our post detail. And each of these tables have a double underscore repr double underscore, as this will make it easier for us to see it in the console. And then we will go ahead and do base.metadata.create all of our engine to go ahead and create all of the tables. And then if we run this file directly, it'll go ahead and create two users for us, add it to the database and commit it. So from here, I don't have a database created, so I'm going to go ahead and run this file to go ahead and create it and add this example data into it. Cool, we have our database created. Go ahead and get rid of this for now. And then now we're going to go ahead and hop in over to our app.py file. If you don't want to change a way a relationship loads, but you want to modify the way a sub-relationship loads or modify how related attributes are loaded, you can use the defaultload function to keep the loading by the way you specified in the class. We can do this by adding the .options function here, and then adding the function defaultload. And in here, we go ahead and pass our user.post to go ahead and make our post load however we specified in our class. And so I've got just a regular query here and the one with the default loading here. And I'm just printing out the query so we can see what the result is. So if we go ahead and run this, we can see the query that is generated with this. As we can see, they are the same. But if we were to go back over to our models file and change this lazy to joined, and then we'll go ahead and run our app.py file again, we can see that both of the queries have changed to have that join in the relationship. And we can see this default loading is doing the exact same thing as just this. So we'll go ahead and change this back to select for now and head back over to our app.py file. All right, so let's now get into eager loading with this options function. This technique is all about reducing the number of database queries by loading related objects in advance. This doesn't always improve performance, but it can in the right scenario. And the first one we'll look at is the joinedload function. This strategy will perform an SQL join to reload the related objects to this query. It is really useful for one-to-one and many-to-one relationships where joining tables can be done efficiently. And this is equivalent to the lazy equals joined on the relationship. So we'll go ahead and do this join load of our user.posts, and then we will go ahead and run this again. And we can see this first query is just selecting the user as what we've specified here. But in this second query, we're doing this join load with the user.posts. And we can see in this query right here, it is selecting both the user data, the post data, and doing a left outer join on the post table. So next up, we have the subqueryload function. This strategy will execute a separate SQL query for the related data. It is beneficial when loading collections of items and can avoid the Cartesian product problem that the join load can produce in some certain scenarios. And the Cartesian product is a cross join that returns all the rows and all the tables listed in the query, where each row in the first table is paired with all the rows in the second table. And this can happen when there is no relationship defined between the two tables. But the subqueryload is the equivalent of saying lazy equals subquery on the relationship. And so here we just changed our join load into subqueryload. And we go ahead and run this again. And we can't really see what's happening behind the scenes here. But if we head back over to our models.py file, scroll back up to the top to our engine and add echo equals true, then we can head back over to our app.py file. And for our queries, we'll do .all for both of these. And then we'll go ahead and run this again. And if we go ahead and look at our console, we can see the first select statement right here, where it's just selecting the user, is this query right here. and that does produce both of our users. But we can see when we perform this other query here, adding this subqueryload to our user post, it performs a select statement to get the user's name. And we can see there's another query being executed right here, where there is a subquery happening inside of it. And it is joining on the post table to get all of our information. And so next up is the selectinload function. Similar to subqueryload, selectinload also uses a separate SQL query to load related data, but it optimizes the loading of collections without using a subquery. This can, in some scenarios, be more efficient than the subquery load. And the equivalent of this is lazy equals selectin on the relationship. So changing it to selectinload here, we'll go ahead and run this. And we can see our first query is still being performed right here. It is still performing this first query to get the users, but then it's performing the second query to get all of the posts for all of our users with the IDs of 1 and 2. Since there are only 2 users in a database, it's only getting all the posts for 2 users. And so it's loading all of this post data all at once so we can access it whenever we want later without performing additional database queries. And the next one we'll talk about is the immediateload function. And this will load everything in the relationship one by one. You can add a recursion depth argument for self relationship so you don't have an infinite loop running trying to load all the data. So now that we have it like this, we'll go ahead and run this. This one does a little bit more here. We can see our first query from line 6 to 8 is right here. That's still the same. But whenever it comes to this query with this immediate load, we can see it still selects all the users, but it's going to generate a select statement to get all of the posts for each user one by one. And for this next part, we'll go over the contains eager function. So the contains eager allows us to eagerly load a relationship and filter on the related data. It does not automatically join the tables together, so we do have to specify that, but it does give us more control over what we can do. I'm going to remove this echo equals true to make it easier for us to see in the output. So here I have 2 different queries being executed. The first one is querying the user and doing a join load on the user.posts, and we're trying to filter the post detail by having a post with an ID of 1. And then for this next one, we're doing the same thing, but we're using contains eager. And since it doesn't automatically join the tables, we do provide this outer join here. And we're doing the exact same filter here. Then we go ahead and print out the query generated and get all the data. And so with these, we'll go ahead and run this and pull up our terminal. And we can see here that using the joinedload function, this is the query that is coming out of this. And we can see this is a little bit different than the query that's coming out down here. But the result that comes out of the joinedload query is giving us all the users, even though only one user has a post that has a detail of ID 1. This joinedload doesn't really let us filter on these related entities. But since we are using this contains eager, it does give us a little more control over filtering over the related entities. That's why we only get this one user here. Another cool thing you can do with this is you can stack dot options on top of each other. So for example, we are doing a default load of user.posts, and post does have a relationship to the detail table. So say we wanted to modify how that specific relationship is loaded, we can then add this dot options right after this loading, and then specify how we want it to load. So in this case, I'm doing an immediate load of the post relationship to the detail. And so this default load is not changing how the posts are loaded in this query, but this is allowing me to then provide another dot options to then change how the detail is loaded with the posts. You don't have to use default load. If you wanted to change this to something, let's say like a joined load, you can do that too, and the dot option still works fine right here. Another cool thing you can do with these loading techniques inside the dot options, you can then change it into an asterisk in quotation marks, and this will apply the specific loading technique on all relationships in this specific query. Another thing is these dot options, you can add more than one option just by adding a comma and then adding the next one after that. So let's say that our user table has a relationship of 1-to-1 to a preference table. If we also wanted to modify the way this relationship loads, we can add a comma here and then just specify another kind of loading. So let's say we want to do a subquery load of the user.preference. Here my syntax loading is not finding it because this doesn't exist currently, but this is just showing an example. And so eager loading is the most beneficial when you know you'll need to access related entities and want to minimize the number of database round trips required to fetch all necessary data. Choosing the right strategy does depend on the relationship types, the database schema, and the specific performance characteristics of your application and database. There are some important considerations when using this kind of loading. While eager loading can reduce the total number of database queries, it may increase the complexity and execution time of individual queries. It's essential to analyze query performance and choose the most appropriate loading strategy. And not every query may benefit from eager loading, especially if you don't need to access related entities. So use eager loading judiciously to optimize performance without unnecessary complicating queries. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.